The dirt that you're using to fill in the area by the daycare center, where's that dirt coming from? Because from my observation, it's coming from that contaminated pile over by the brig that has been building and building and building for years and years and years, and now is reducing, scraping it off into small piles, using Volvo rental trucks and dragging it over there to fill it in. Now, is that just, I mean, you can't take contaminated dirt to fill in a supposedly cleared site.
And I know you're way too smart to be accusing anybody of doing that, right?
No, I've actually videotaped it. So can we just discuss what is up with that pile?
We backfill with certified clean fill soil.
Okay.
That's what the Navy does on every base. When you're in CERCLA and you have to have
certified. So where's that dirt going that I
have
observed them scooping into the back of the truck?
You have certified backfill, clean backfill soil, okay? We certify that with the regulatory agencies, and then we use that soil to backfill once we have approval from the regulatory agencies to backfill those sites.
So that pile has been cleared, that it's been cleaned. Is that true? And if so, when and where is that documented?
I'm not sure where is that pile.
The pile is back next to the old jail. It's right next to the CBI.
Is it Site 6?
That's not contaminated soil, no.
It isn't, where is the clearance on that? Where is that listed? Where is it documented? Because as far as I remember, and it was even up a few months ago, still covered in a tarp. They tried the rhino snot on it. They had it covered in tarp. And then they added more gravel back there. And then suddenly it started getting smaller and smaller. And then I went back and I videotaped them scraping it down and putting it into small piles, loading it into Volvo rental mechanical equipment and trucks, driving it around. And when he saw me videotaping, he backed the truck back out and went the other way and dumped it into the site next to the daycare center. Now, is that dirt clean or is it not clean? And if it is, where is the documentation on it?
Okay, so Catherine, no need to get tense about this.
No, I'm not tense.
Well,
I'm just very direct.
you made a fairly serious thing here, and I need to put this to rest. Well, it's not serious because you are mistaken. It is not anything but clean backfill that we use at the site. If you wish, you can call me on my number anytime. We can show you the data that certified the clean backfill. This is a very regular part of the cleanup process. And I just have to tell you that when we do transport pre-positioned piles of soil that we get, okay, it is certified for clean fill and then is transported and backfilled and compacted at the site. That is a regular part of the program. There's nothing mysterious about it.
Okay.
I'm sorry you have apparently a little anxiety about it.
No, I don't have a little anxiety. I have actual video documentation and camera observations on file in 3 different areas now. I need you to answer me. Wait a minute. I am not tense. I am very direct and I'm very honest. I just need you to tell me where the documentation is that that pile has been cleared, because on 2 separate occasions I've observed this.
I can probably help clarify for the
I would love
moment.
for you to help.
It's an old pile. That's the problem. So it's been there for years. So we will go back and double check when that pile was built, right?
Okay.
But as far as I know, it's always been, it was the pile that was planned to backfill Site 12. So it was either imported, most likely it was imported. When? Years ago.
Okay.
And generally, any backfill that comes on Treasure Island, even the big pile that's over.
It came from the stadium.
Stadium, is that?
That was from
there
the
you go.
excavation of the stadium.
And I believe we run all that through the standard DTSC protocol for import fill, clean backfill. So the question is, where is the analytical data for that? Unfortunately, it could be in a number of reports since it's been there for so many years, so we'll have to go back and figure out, okay, when did it get there? But yeah, anything that comes on Treasure Island, whether it's for us or for redevelopment, goes through the suite of analysis that DTSC requires. it'll take us a little while to do our homework and find that data, because it's been years since we've looked at it.
I'm going to address that then. If that was indeed clean fill that arrived here, what was the purpose in, one, attempting to keep it covered by plastic, and then two, having to use the rhino snot on it? That's the green
Yes.
cover. So what, I mean, did you just waste that material to look like you're cleaning a non-contaminated pile of dirt, or was it really necessary to decontaminate it before you used it again?
Oh, it was clean when it came on. There was no decontamination of the pile itself. That was for just dust
But
control.
you went through the decontamination process, and so I'm asking, what was the purpose? Yes, I have pictures of it with the green stuff all over it.
No, that's for, actually, that's for dust control. So it was clean when it came on, and the rhino snot, or there's a better term for it,
Okay, so if I am mistaken,
Soil tax.
soil attack.
okay, so if I am mistaken, these are the questions that develop from behaviors that do not appear above board. So these are the types of things that when the residents are involved at all, well, I mean, you know, you can smile, but there's a number of things that need to be discussed. And when you're dealing with the community and we're watching these things daily, this is where perhaps a quarter of the problems are coming from. We see these things, you explain them in meetings, and we see you decontaminating, whether you call it dust control or not, is irrelevant because it's already set up for us to question it. Okay, so forgive me if this is my question, but these are questions that have come to me, so now they're coming through me.
Understand. Okay, so we'll take that back and we will get that data.
Okay, if we can
Thank
make
you.
sure we do that, thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe you can explain why there is this whole dust control thing. You know, because Catherine has a point, you look at this thing and you go, well, we can't breathe the dust, so it must be contaminated, but it's not what it is. There's an issue, do you mind if I address this real quickly? So, I mean, it's important for you to know this. There is an issue which is separate from contaminated dirt or whatever. It's, you don't want sediment to get into stuff like storm drains. That's another type of contamination, which has nothing to do with, do we have contaminants that are toxic to us in that dirt? It's very different. And so the water board requires that any pile of dirt that's sitting there, you do not want any erosion. It's not because of any possible contamination, it's because you do not want sediment to be flowing into the bay, into storm drains, etc. If you ever go to a construction site, you're going to see they're using these straw bales and a bunch of stuff, and they always tell you you have to be building during the dry season. You cannot build when it's raining. Why is that? Because they don't want erosion into storm drains, and they just want to limit erosion, which has nothing to do with the contamination. So I mean, I understand your point, but that's a different issue, which from the outside looks funny, but that's
I
not what
can
it is.
accept that to a limit. When you have metal that is oxidizing, i.e. rusting, flaking off, it does end up, and radiation does contaminate the surrounding dirt. So if you're lifting things up and you're redepositing dirt, and the dirt is flying in the wind, then part of that is true as well, and I can accept that part. But there's another part of that that isn't being spoken. When you have particulate matter that has been in contact with any type and any amount of radiation, it does indeed carry a proton. It carries a photon. Okay, it carries an energy, and the same goes for the chemicals. Okay, it can indeed lift it, carry it, and become ingested, inhaled, or touch your body. And I hate to quote you guys, but dermal contact.
Okay.
And so dust control is important for a number of reasons. The particulates may or may not individually carry something, but as a whole, all of these things should be considered.